Talking about season 3, episode 12. I've got dreams to remember. Oh my god, that opening dream sequence. Bailey instead of Haley. And then here comes, oh, well, you let Lucas play with a serious heart condition, and we see him on the table. And Dan's like the doctor trying to bring him back, and freaking Tim is dressed as a freaking nurse. And he's like, he's 86, yo. Just say he's dead, Tim. Oh my god. Keith with the cop is great. We also know you bought a gun. Oh my god, was Dan shot? Oh no, wait, it was fire. I did like what he said about the video. Oh yes, I saw it. It was stimulating. Oh wow. Dan, you're a little crass. Oh, because Karen's like, don't waste your breath on him, Lucas. And Dan's all, he wasted more than that. I thought that Lucas was going to deck him. He should have, but then again, he probably would end up in jail too. Why would your brother accuse you of killing him? Because he's probably still mad I slept with his wife? Why did you come back to Tree Hill? Because I live here? Ooh, Keith is really getting under Dan's skin. He's like, oh yeah, I confess. I bought a bottle of liquor because I was really thirsty. You son of a bitch. Don't bring mom into it. I do like the moments that Ellie and Peyton are having because they're small, but they leave an impact for Peyton for sure. I love that the cop is like, I can't hold him without anything, having anything on him. The only thing that I could do is bring charges against you for assaulting your brother. And Dan's like, can I fire you? And the cop's like, no. And Keith on the other side of the glass is like, see you, Danny. Can this visit count as Christmas this year? And the cop kind of laughs. I like that. Oh my God, Rachel pulling Marvin away from his counselor appointment. And then he's like, see, I can take a joke. I can make a joke too. That counselor's my mom. Ha, I can make a joke too. I kind of like that because Rachel just pulling away from his appointment was a little rude. I will say Keith seems a lot lighter and happier in this episode than we saw him in any of the previous episodes. After high school, I have cheer practice. Come on, Brooke. I forgot that Mouth started teaching the girls on the cheerleader squad how to dance more. Oh, that's right. Rachel put in the designs for Brooke because she wanted her busy with her designs instead of going to the cheerleader classic competition. I love that. I asked your mom out on a date, Lucas. Great, Keith. What'd she say? Funny. Oh, man. Brooke kind of stepped in it with Mouth on that one, kind of basically saying, I just stick with my own kind. And of course, Rachel wouldn't hang out with me unless she wants something. I mean, Brooke may not be wrong on this. I mean, at the moment, but yeah, that wasn't great. And it is funny when she's talking to the counselor, how she says, yeah, there should be milk cartons with missing parents on them around here. It's pretty usual. It's pretty normal for Tree Hill. Ha ha. I like when Brooke's like, I can win 2 trophies. I'll put one on my mantle and shove the other one up Rachel's. And then we see Dan's butt. And seriously, when he calls Haley Nathan's girlfriend, I really wish Haley would have said, I'm his wife. And of course, Dan's like, hey, how's my song coming? Remember, I've been paying Nathan. Nathan's been paying for your recording, so I guess it's my song. You just have to ruin everything, Dan. That was a nice little mother-daughter type-esque moment between Ellie and Peyton about trying to make her think about going to college. Okay, that was cute. Karen's getting ready for a date with Keith, and Lucas is like, so you excited? Tonight's a big night. I mean, Keith is like the most popular guy in school. Oh my God, the whole ribbing. Like, you want me to talk to him, make sure his intentions are honorable. Getting pretty serious, huh? Bringing him home to meet the fam. Enough! Keith getting that classic Mustang, doing less talking, more doing. Good for you, Keith. Do love that one. You'll just have to be more careful next time you practice bitchcraft. Brooke and Rachel. They're great, right? Aw, Whitey's all good to have you home, Keith. Now I just need to win tonight. Oh my God, Dan just pushing Peyton and Brooke out of the way like a kid. Then he's like, ha, Nathan, there's the scout I called. Nathan's like, nope, this ain't on you. This is on me. He's here to see me. You can't own this one. Good, Nathan. Gigi's so randy, but those shorts that the basketball players wear, they're not tight, honey. Oh, I forgot about that twist. The big time scouts there. But because Dan was in the political science class and Nathan skipped and Whitey didn't know, and oh, that's the rule, if you miss class you miss the game, so he's making him sit out the game. Oh, totally backfired. Dan's like, piece of advice, coaches usually play their lead scorers, you know, it helps them win. Whitey's all like, wow, the mayor's talking to me. I feel so special. Wow, so Lucas is finally, like, advocating for Nathan, kind of working together, and Whitey is like, you know the rules, that's it. I mean, he is a man of conviction. I'm glad that Brooke apologized to Mouth and they made up. That was nice. Oh my god. Here is Dan trying to talk down Lucas. Thank God Keith was there. And then, like, Karen shows up and Dan's like, you both could do better. Karen's like, God knows I've done worse. Don't leave town, Keith. Wouldn't dream of it, Danny. That was good. Lots of progress with Nathan giving Lucas the tip to get a point. Get the points. And he got the win. It's the perfect night. Everybody wins. Maybe not Nathan exactly the way he wanted, but he learned another lesson. Oh, that moment after the game with Haley and Nathan and just having that honest, like, moment about, hey, you know, we both want these different things, but he's not going to tell her what to do. And she's just like, tell me that you love me. Of course I love you. Oh, and then the scout comes and talks to Lucas, and Lucas is like, you should meet my brother. And it's just like, this is great. We really get an illustration of how alone Brooke feels at the end of this episode. See, Coach is going to take care of you, Nathan. He's going to make sure that Scout comes back. And then he's like, I want you to call someone at Stanford. Oh my God. I know Ellie says she's okay, but I feel like she's not. But it is cool that she came up with the cover and the name for the title of the album. Okay, so Dan is like sitting out there in his car, totally looking like a lurker, watching Karen and, Lucas, and I thought Keith was in the frame there for a second, and then here comes Keith, like, knocking on his window, like, I hope you got your pants on, and then he's like, go home, Danny, this isn't your life, and it's like, oh, that's such a moment, you know, like, oh my God. Okay, on to the podcast. Okay, so my thoughts on episode 12. I love that they absolutely loved this episode. I really did too. It was a good payoff. So I have to wonder what the fan who won the contest is saying about 13, because I'm very curious now. So, like, I really have to agree with what Joy said. Everybody really did get what they need in this episode. Absolutely. And it, as I said, it was a massive payoff. And I did like the Brooke's just a girl standing in front of her high school counselor asking if anyone will ever love her. I did see that episode of Frasier, Joy, because I too love Frasier. High five. I still rewatch that show. I fell in love with that show when it was on TV originally, and it's still great. I also love Cheers as well. And I do have to agree that I really think that seeing Dan not winning and getting a dose of that reality, and not just that, but I feel like in this episode, it impacted Dan. Because usually I feel like everything kind of bounces off of Dan, but this time I feel like he really, it resonated with him this time. So it was kind of nice to see that, oh, maybe you are somewhat human after all. But he is a stalker, I agree. And yes, Keith is totally the MVP of this episode, and that moment at the end was so perfect. It was a very full circle kind of karma. And everything Keith did was just amazeballs, and it really is a duel. And Keith definitely just did the quick and direct to Dan's soul kind of kill. Like, and it was just kind of like in the nicest way ever, which kind of makes it even more delicious. And it is wild that, like, Dan went to all that trouble to get that scout there for Nathan. Whitey's like, no, you're not playing. Then the scout wants Lucas, but Lucas brought Nathan in on it. So it's like this selfish thing was now turned into a lovely, unselfish moment. You know, not from Dan, of course, but Lucas. And it was indeed, it did, everything just clicked. And it was a beautiful moment of the brothers kind of finding their way back to each other on some level. And yes, Whitey did come through with the good parenting, but he kind of usually does. Like, he's old school. I think more people, more kids need that. Like, they need that old school kind of like, I'm doing this for your own good because I care about what happens to you, and that's such an important lesson. So Karen and Lucas moments in this episode were just absolutely adorable. And, Dan in therapy would be a fantastic spinoff. That would just be, but honestly, I feel like he would be one of those guys that would go to therapy as a challenge to try to mess with the therapist. But it would be entertaining, I'm sure. I wouldn't want to be that therapist. I mean, my God. And, Peyton, I thought Peyton was talking about Jake when she was talking to Ellie, but it's an interesting thought that maybe she wasn't talking about Jake. We do assume that she was talking about Jake, but it's possible she was talking about Lucas. And again, there's that foreshadowing. There's the possibility of that foreshadowing that, a lot of us know is coming. And, I love the story about Sophia and her mom and the can, the hemp weed soda or whatever. That was hilarious. And, bravo to the parents out there that are real with their kids, because, they aren't dumb, and you do have to kind of, tell it like it is sometimes. It's like, okay, you get it, So I feel like I personally relate to Hillary a lot on the partying back in the day, because I definitely did a lot of it. So I feel like I relate most to her because I am pretty, honest about things. And I'm just kind of like, as the years progress in one's life, I don't know if things get easier as much as you just learn not to give a fuck about a lot of shit. And I agree with her on that, of people telling her that a lot of the things she's done have been big mistakes. But some of the biggest mistakes I've made have been some of the best memories of my life too. I mean, of course, there's always the ones that aren't. There's two sides to every coin. But I totally relate with that. And I did not notice Whitey had a whiskey and it was trying to hide his whiskey glass when Nathan came in. I did not notice that. I must have looked away too, much like Joy. But that was funny, and I can so see him doing that. But of course Nathan saw it. But it's adorable because it's such a Whitey move. So Joy told her story about wearing her headphones in the airport and missing her flight. This is a very good cautionary tale, y'all. I've almost missed one flight in my life because they changed the gate, and this was the time before texting, before they told you everything about your flight on a text. And they were about to close the doors. That's a scary feeling. So she told a good cautionary tale on why you don't do that, because then you'll end up having to pay some stranger $1,000 to drive you to Wilmington, North Carolina. And that was a lot of trust because she was sleeping, because she had to get sleep. That's so scary. You got very fortunate, Joy. And honestly, if you're the woman that drove her, reach out to them. I would love to hear your side of that story. And speaking of that, the story of Soph crashing the wedding and being on the wedding video, I have to wonder, when the bride and groom watched their wedding video, did they know who she was? Who are you? Reach out to them. We want to hear from you too. And that's it for me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. I will see you next week.